Hi friends, welcome to Start Studies course. Sushmita here. Today we are going to discuss transportation in cells, which is basically grade 11 biology, and we are just going to have a conceptual clarity about the requirement of transportation and how it is occurring in basically plants. We will also discuss the transportation in cells of animals afterwards. Now first I will go to why do we need to have some kind of transportation. Okay, now that is a very important question which we should not be leaving. Why do we need the transportation in cells? As they are doing something for us basically. First is to get some kind of energy that we are deriving from food, and that also used for growth, development and repair. We also require some kind of salt and water intake as well as excretion. So all these things has to be transported from one point of the body to another point, of course through cells. And how it happens in terms of some kind of transportation, one is called active transportation, this is called active transportation, and another is called passive transportation. Okay, so this is very important and it plays a very vital role when we are discussing transportation in cells. As mammals or animals or big plants, they require to transport from one cell to another. It is so we will be discussing first of all what is basically active transportation. Now in active transportation, what we will be doing, the molecules move uphill. It is very important to understand that it is uphill. What do we mean by uphill? Uphill means you are going against the flow. Okay, that means some energy has to be spent, which is specifically in form of ATP, so that the transport has to be made. As it is uphill, so the movement is actually against the concentration gradient. Now when we are discussing concentration gradient, it is very important and it is very important for me to make you understand what is concentration gradient. Now concentration gradient is some kind of, what is concentration gradient? If we say gradient is basically a form of showing some kind of change. What kind of change? It can be increase or it can be decrease depending upon the level of flow. Now think of an analogy. We know temperature, it always flow from high to low, isn't it? In temperature, when there is a high temperature, a hot a cup of tea is kept near a cold or icy cold bottle, what will happen? The temperature will flow from high to low till equilibrium or balance is achieved. So what is happening? The temperature is flowing from high to low. Now this increase or decrease of this concentration from high to low is called concentration gradient. It is available for temperature. It is also available for water flow when it is moving from high altitude to low altitude. It is also available for when we are discussing something like this, the molecules which has to be moved against their will or uphill or the concentration gradient. So it is emphasized that it is moving against the concentration gradient, so require energy which is mostly in form of ATP. Now it is active transportation is highly selective. If it is not that compulsory, it won't happen. So it has to be like make a note of it. You must make a note of it, because active transportation is highly selective, and it only happens to pump molecules through certain vessel or whenever it is required. It is a very dynamic process and fast process, rapid process, but it is physical, of course. So we will be discussing the active transportation. What are the examples of active transportation? In active transportation, if you say when you are moving some kind of large protein molecules, okay, if you are moving some large molecules, protein as well as lipid as well as ions, those which are not soluble in water, they has to be moved against their will, that means uphill, and there we need to spend energy. So that's why active transportation comes into play in plants. Then we will go to passive transportation. Now in passive transportation, what we are discussing and how it is different from active transportation. Now in passive transportation, the transport just happens, go with the flow thing. So it is basically, if we say, it is basically a downhill movement. We don't need to apply any kind of force on the, or we don't need to work on it. It just happens and it flows from high to low or high concentration to low concentration depending upon the requirement. Where it happens, so it happens with the concentration, along with the concentration gradient. Along means it is downhill, it is along with the current flow, okay, and it is not totally selective. So there is no selection criteria. It can happen anywhere, from gases to gases, from liquids to liquids, from gases to liquids. So it is not totally selective. So we need to see where passive transport comes into play. It is very important. Now this process is carried out to have balance and equilibrium in and out of the cell. It is basically happened in there. Balance and equilibrium of cell should be maintained. How so? If the nutrients has to be entered inside the cell, then it will happen in terms of passive transport. No energy should be spent there. And if some waste materials in terms of carbon dioxide, let it be carbon dioxide, let it be waste materials of any kind, it has to be removed out from the cell, then it should be happen through passive transportation. And so removal of waste materials as well as absorbing nutrients, both are the terms of passive transport. There are three kind of there are many passive transportation process like diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, that is also a part of it. So these are all things we should be talking about when we are there should be a comparison between active transportation and passive transportation. So I made a table and just wanted to discuss with you. That's why I'm showing you this one. Now in active transportation is a kind of thing where we require some kind of ATP or cellular energy. So it requires energy, whereas passive do not require any kind of energy. First, it is the first and foremost point we should be noting down. Second one, it circulates from lower to higher, so it is against the concentration gradient, whereas in passive transportation it is moving from high to low, so it is along with the concentration gradient. Third one, it is required for transport of large cells, protein, complex sugar or glucose molecules and ions, which of course needed to, then energy has to be spent, and it is against the concentration gradient. And third, in passive transportation, it required for transport of soluble molecules like oxygen, carbon dioxide, CO2, sex hormones, as well as lipids. So as those are all soluble molecules in water or fat, they can be removed in process of diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusions, all that. Now, active transportation is a very, very rapid process. It has to be noted. Whereas a passive transportation is a very slow process. It happens continuously maybe. So, and in the next point, it happens in one direction only. Active transportation only happens in one direction and should be noted down, whereas passive transportation happens in two directions. It can happen in two directions, so it is also called bidirectional movement. Okay, now example of active transport is exocytosis, endocytosis, like that, or sodium potassium pump. Now example of passive transport is osmosis, diffusion, facilitated diffusion. Now after this, I want to discuss something about diffusion. What is basically diffusion? You must have came across this part of this word many times in your till now. But diffusion is basically the movement of which particles? Movement of molecules from higher to lower, but it is passive. So high to low with passive transportation is called diffusion, and it is affected by definitely gradient of concentration, permeability of the membrane, separating them. The permeability plays a vital role in everything. Let it be diffusion, let it be osmosis, let it be anything. If the permeability is the main factor in like having the flow, whether slow or very slow or like that. And it also depends on the temperature as well as the pressure. Now you can see this in picture here. In diffusion, we are having a high concentration zone here from high to low when it started flowing, and this is the permeable membrane we are having in between in the middle. After diffusion is finished and equilibrium is achieved, you can see same number of molecules in each cell. Okay, so when equilibrium is achieved means the number of molecules or nutrients or whatever is transferred, the number of molecules should be same in either of the cell, both of the cell basically. So diffusion helps in moving from higher to lower concentration in mode of passive transportation. I hope like in this video I clarified all your things about active and passive transportation. We will meet again in next class, and you can also drop a comment if you want any specific video. You can drop the comment so that we will do it together. Now there is assessment for you. You can take the screenshot of it and solve for yourself. If you find anything difficult in here, you can write to me in the comment section, and do like and subscribe my videos as well as channels, so that I will also able to help you, and whenever a new video is uploaded, it will be notified to you. So have a good day. Do not skip. See till the end. Take care.